I stood in my studio, brush poised over canvas, as another voicemail from my mother played through the speakers. Sophia, darling, you really must attend the opening. The Winston Museum is the biggest thing to happen to this family since your great-grandfather founded Winston Industries. Your brother has worked so hard to make this happen. I let her voice fade into background noise, focusing instead on the interplay of light and shadow in my latest piece. The irony wasn't lost on me. My family was about to open a $100 million art museum while still considering me the family disappointment for choosing to become an artist. Growing up as Sophia Winston meant carrying the weight of generations of industrial success on your shoulders. My great-grandfather built Winston Industries from nothing. My grandfather expanded it across continents, and my father transformed it into a global powerhouse. Then came my brother, Michael, the golden child who would shepherd the family legacy into the modern era. And me? I was the rebel who chose paintbrushes over profit margins. Art won't pay the bills, Sophia, my father would say, his voice heavy with disappointment. It's a hobby, not a career. The memory of that conversation still stung, even now, 10 years later. I had just graduated from high school, portfolio in hand, acceptance letter to the prestigious Art Institute clutched like a lifeline. I got a full scholarship, I had argued, trying to make them understand. They only accept 12 students a year. My mother had dabbed at her eyes with an embroidered handkerchief. Darling, think about your future, the family name. Michael is already at Harvard Business School, following the path laid out for him. I am thinking about my future, I'd insisted. My art is everything to me. My father's response was cold, final. Then pursue it without our support. We won't fund this. Rebellion. I left that night with nothing but my savings, art supplies, and an unshakable determination to prove them wrong. For years, I lived in a tiny apartment, working as a waitress during the day and painting through the night. My family's disappointment followed me like a shadow, manifesting in subtle digs at mandatory holiday gatherings. Still dabbling with your little paintings? Aunt Margaret would ask, voice dripping with false sympathy. You know, we're always hiring in the mailroom, Michael would offer, his generosity a thinly veiled insult. What they didn't know was that I had found my own path to success. Under the pseudonym Southwest Blake, my work had begun gaining recognition in the art world. It started small, a few pieces in local galleries, then larger shows in prestigious venues. Critics praised the depth of emotion, the innovative techniques, the raw honesty of my work. Meanwhile, my family remained blissfully unaware, too caught up in their own world of corporate acquisitions and profit margins to notice the rising star in the art world who shared their DNA. Even when my pieces started selling for 6 figures, they still saw me as the wayward daughter working in a coffee shop to support her hobby. The ultimate irony came 3 months ago. Michael, now CEO of Winston Industries, decided to establish the family's legacy in the art world. The Winston Museum would be a testament to their cultural sophistication, housing one of the most expensive private collections ever assembled. We've acquired some extraordinary pieces, Michael boasted at the last family dinner I attended, including several by that reclusive artist, Southwest Blake. The art world is obsessed with them. I nearly choked on my wine. Really? How interesting. Yes, though they're frightfully expensive, my mother added. Michael paid $8 million for just one painting. Can you imagine? I could imagine quite well, considering I was the one who had painted it. If only you had their talent, Sophia, my father sighed. Then your artistic pursuits might have amounted to something. I excused myself early that night, claiming a shift at the coffee shop. In reality, I had to finish a commission piece that would sell for more than Michael's yearly salary. The secret of Southwest Blake's identity had become my armor, protecting me from their judgment while allowing me to build my own empire in plain sight. Now, standing in my real studio, not the small space my family thought I rented, but a converted warehouse in the city's arts district, I surveyed my latest works. Tomorrow they would all be unveiled as the centerpiece of the Winston Museum's opening gala. Every single piece in the modern wing bore my signature, though my family had yet to make the connection. My phone buzzed again. Another message from the museum's curator, Isabella Torres. She was one of the few people who knew my true identity and had become both a close friend and a co-conspirator in tomorrow's revelation. Everything is ready, her text read. Your family won't know what hit them. I set down my brush, stepping back to examine the final piece I'd been working on. It would be my gift to the museum. A massive canvas depicting a Winston family portrait from my childhood, but with a twist. In my version, the figures were shadowed, indistinct except for a young girl holding a paintbrush, her face turned toward the light. My phone rang again. This time it was Michael. "Sophia, you were coming tomorrow, right? The whole family will be there. It would look bad if you weren't." I smiled, thinking of the surprise that awaited them. "Don't worry, brother dear. I wouldn't miss it for the world." After hanging up, I walked through my studio, passing paintings worth millions that would soon hang in my family's museum. Each one held a piece of my journey, the pain of rejection, the struggle to find my voice, the triumph of success on my own terms. A message from Isabella popped up on my phone. "Final walkthrough in an hour. Sure you're ready for this?" I texted back a single word. "Ready." Tomorrow, the carefully constructed facade would crumble. Tomorrow, my family would learn that the failed artist they had dismissed had become the very artist they had spent millions collecting. Tomorrow, every painting in their $100 million museum would reveal its true creator. But tonight, I had one final piece to complete, a self-portrait that would hang in the museum's entrance. In it, I stood in my studio, brush in hand, my signature bold and clear, Sophia Winston Blake. It was time for Southwest Blake to step into the light. The Winston Museum's grand opening sparkled with all the ostentation you'd expect from my family. Crystal chandeliers cast a warm glow over marble floors, champagne flowed freely, and the city's elite mingled in designer evening wear, pretending to understand art. I arrived early, dressed in a simple black gown that would have made my mother wince. No designer labels, no family diamonds. Tonight was about my art, not the Winston name. "There you are." Isabella rushed over, her curator's badge gleaming. "The press is already here, and your family is doing preliminary interviews. Are you ready?" I watched as Michael held court near the entrance, explaining his vision for the museum to a group of journalists. Our parents stood nearby, beaming with pride. "I've been ready for 10 years, I replied. The modern wing, where most of my work hung, was still curtained off. It would be the highlight of the evening's unveiling, the mysterious Southwest Blake collection that had cost the Winston family a fortune. "Sophia," my mother's voice cut through the crowd. "Darling, you really could have made more of an effort. This is a black tie event." I smiled, remembering the 3 similar gowns in my closet that had each cost more than her entire outfit. "I came to support the family, Mother. Isn't that what matters?" "Yes, well," she glanced around nervously. "Try not to mention your hobby tonight. We're telling everyone you work in art acquisition." "Don't worry," I assured her. "Everyone will know exactly what I do by the end of the evening." The crowd grew as 8 o'clock approached. Art critics, collectors, and social elite filled the space, all eager to see the mysterious Southwest Blake collection. I overheard snippets of conversation about the reclusive artist's identity, each theory more outlandish than the last. "Welcome, everyone." Michael's voice boomed through the speakers. "Tonight marks a historic moment for both the Winston family and the art world. The Winston Museum represents not just our family's dedication to cultural excellence, but our commitment to bringing the world's finest art to our city." Our father joined him on the small stage. For generations, the Winston name has stood for innovation and success in industry. Tonight, we expand that legacy into the realm of fine art. I felt Isabella squeeze my arm. "Ready for your cue." Michael continued his speech. "The centerpiece of our collection, and the piece I'm most proud to present, is the complete works of the acclaimed Southwest Blake. We've spent years acquiring these pieces, and tonight, we finally unveil them to the public." The curtains began to rise, revealing my work one piece at a time. The crowd gasped collectively as each painting came into view. I heard critics murmuring in appreciation, collectors discussing the millions they'd offered for similar pieces. "These works," Michael gestured grandly, "represent the largest private collection of Southwest Blake's art in the world. Their unique vision, their masterful technique, it's an honor to provide them a permanent home." And who better to tell us about these magnificent works? Isabella stepped forward, right on cue, than the artist herself. The room fell silent. Michael's smile froze. "Ladies and gentlemen," Isabella continued, "it is my great pleasure to introduce you to Southwest Blake, or as her family knows her, Sophia Winston." I walked onto the stage, taking the microphone from my brother's limp hand. The shock on my family's faces was worth every moment of the past 10 years. Thank you, Michael, for those kind words about my work, I said calmly. You're right, these pieces do tell a story. My story. The room erupted in whispers. Cameras flashed. My mother swayed slightly, steadied by my father's rigid grip. Each painting here represents a chapter in my journey, I continued, walking toward the largest piece, the reimagined family portrait. This one, for example, was inspired by the night my family told me art was a waste of time. It sold last year for $12 million. Michael found his voice. This is impossible. Sophia works in a coffee shop. Actually, Isabella cut in. Sophia hasn't worked in food service for 8 years. She's been rather busy becoming one of the most successful artists of her generation. The Southwest Blake collection is valued at over $200 million. My father stepped forward, his face a mask of confusion and dawning realization. Why didn't you tell us? Would you have believed me? I asked. You were so convinced I was a failure that you never bothered to look closely at my success. Even when you were spending millions on my art, you couldn't see me. The evening devolved into chaos after that. Press members clamored for interviews, art critics revised their analyses of my work knowing the Winston influence, and collectors suddenly remembered my remarkable talent from my early coffee shop days. My mother, recovering her composure, attempted to take control. Darling, we always knew you had potential. This is wonderful for the family name. No, Mother, I cut her off. This isn't about the family name. Every piece in this collection was created by Sophia Winston Blake, not the Winston fortune. I built this on my own, despite your lack of faith. The anonymous donor, Michael whispered, realization dawning. The one who helped fund the museum, that was you. I nodded. Consider it my gift to the family, a reminder that success doesn't always wear a business suit. In the weeks that followed, the art world buzzed with the revelation of Southwest Blake's identity. The value of my work doubled overnight, though I refused to sell any new pieces to my family. They would have to earn the right to collect my art. Gradually, things changed. My father started asking genuine questions about my technique. My mother stopped introducing me as our daughter who works in art acquisition, and began proudly showing photos of my studio to her friends. Michael took longest to come around. But one day, he visited my studio, my real studio, unannounced. I was wrong, he said, studying my latest piece. We were all wrong about you. Yes, I agreed, not looking up from my canvas. You were. The thing is, he continued, I never really looked at art before. Not properly, but your pieces, they tell stories. Important ones. I finally turned to face him. Every artist tells stories, Michael. You just have to be willing to listen. He nodded slowly. I'm listening now. Today, the Winston Museum still stands as one of the city's premier art institutions. My work fills its modern wing, each piece a testament to the power of following your own path. The family portrait hangs in the entrance, reminding visitors that sometimes the black sheep of the family might just be creating a masterpiece. When young artists ask me about success, I tell them the truth. Talent matters, hard work matters, but believing in yourself when no one else does, that matters most of all. And sometimes the sweetest victory isn't proving others wrong, but proving yourself right. As for my family, they finally learned to see me, not as the failed artist or the rebellious daughter, but as Sophia Winston Blake, the artist who turned their $100 million museum into a priceless collection with a single signature. And that signature now stands boldly on every piece, a testament to the power of passion over expectations, of art over industry, of being true to yourself even when everyone else demands you change. After all, every great artist knows, sometimes the most beautiful masterpieces come from the darkest doubts.